Did you know that India is setting a new global benchmark?
Prime Minister Modi with the tricolour flagging off the Vande Bharat Express.
भारतीय रेल अगले कुछ महीनों में सभी रेल लाइनों के 100% इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन का लक्ष्य लेकर चल रही है.
Indian Railways is well on its way to achieve 100% electrification on its broad gauge network, aiming to build a greener future and reach net zero emissions with advanced rail infrastructure technologies. Every wheel, every brake, every bearing, they're all communicating with superior intelligence like never before. Hi everyone, this is your instructor Ansh Mehra and you are learning from the Cutting Edge School. In this video, we'll understand what India did in rail that no country in the world has ever achieved at its scale. The cutting edge tech making all of it happen, ETCS Level 2, CBTC, cloud-based signaling and AI that predicts failures before they happen. And finally, why this is not just about trains, but it's about India becoming a global technology hub. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we get into the story, it's important to know that for a very long time, our trains in India were just not coordinating with each other properly. And the main issue was a communication network. If anything went wrong, nobody knew what happened or what was the core reason.
India had logistics costs which were 13% of GDP, one of the highest in the world.
But today, Siemens has contributed towards reducing costs and improving efficiency with its advanced technology.
How does that happen? The railways is the center of that cost. And if we can speed things up in the railways, that helps in bringing down the logistic costs in the country.
You would find this hard to believe, but in 2023, GDP costs of the United States were at 8.7% and for India, it was 13%. And all of these GDP gaps were not because we were inefficient, but because our trains had no core intelligence. There was no system predicting what would break next, or there was no technology that could help in preventing delays. But when I walked into the Siemens booth at IREE 2025, which is the International Railway Equipment Exhibition, I was completely amazed. Siemens is a leading tech company that focuses on industry, infrastructure and mobility, and it creates technology to transform everyday life for all of us. At IREE 2025, which is Asia's largest and the world's second largest railway exhibition, I sat down with Mr. Sunil Mathur, the MD and CEO of Siemens Limited.
Well, I think India did look completely different 15 years ago, right?
We discussed how Indian Railways looked 15 years ago versus today, and how Siemens has played a significant role in the incredible transformation of the Indian Railways. This transformation right here is going to completely change how India travels. Now, from the very beginning, their vision was clear. They wanted to make trains faster, safer, and more intelligent.
They want to green the railways. They want to make the railways safe. They want to make the railways speedy.
But what was the most important thing to actually scale this? The answer was in making them greener, which means making them more sustainable.
India is in a hurry. If we have to get to Viksit Bharat in 2047, the clock is already ticking.
And to achieve this, Indian Railways had set 4 clear priorities. Number 1 was to achieve 100% electrification. Number 2 was to reach net zero carbon emissions. Third was increasing freight share to 45%. And in the end, to improve haulage capacity, which is the maximum load pulling capacity of a vehicle. For those who don't know, freight share is the proportion of total goods transported by a particular mode of transportation. And to make this happen, Siemens is working on 4 pillars of mobility. First is the life cycle cost optimization for rail infrastructure and rolling stock, which means all railway vehicles should be capable of moving on a track. Number 2 is 100% system availability. Number 3 is maximizing network capacity. And number 4 is optimizing the customer experience and processes. India has electrified 68,000 kilometers of its railway network, making it the second largest electrified rail network in the world.
Now, 68,000 kilometers will not tell you anything. In the last 7 years, India has electrified 34,000 kilometers in 7 years, which is equivalent to the entire rail network of Germany, which is still not electrified. So we are present in that area, electrification part of the infrastructure.
And this is when I realized that this is not just about trains. This is about intelligence, technology, and transformation coming together. So I asked Mr. Sunil Mathur to break all of this down for me. Because what exactly is making these Indian trains talk to each other? The National Rail Plan 2030 is an incredibly ambitious initiative. Here, the Indian Railways is aiming to create a future-ready system by increasing the modal share of railways in freight to 45%, reducing freight transit time significantly, boosting average speeds to 50 kilometers per hour, and achieving 100% electrification with dedicated freight and high-speed rail corridors. This plan includes 58 critical projects spanning 3,750 kilometers and 68 critical projects covering 6,913 kilometers, all designed to create capacity ahead of demand, ensuring India's railways can handle growth all the way to 2050.
This is having an impact on the economy.
Now imagine controlling every single train in India from one centralized control system. This means real-time updates across the entire network, instant deployment of new features, video analytics using AI to detect track problems, predictive maintenance at a national scale, and massively reduced infrastructure costs.
All of that is something that Siemens has the latest technologies on. And this is getting more and more advanced in terms of technology. You have cloud-based technologies coming in. You have real-time technologies. This is very critical to ensure that passengers feel safe while they are traveling.
Indian Railways is rapidly becoming an intelligent, technology-driven mobility ecosystem that's powering India's growth. And let me tell you about Siemens projects that are truly changing the way we travel and our goods travel across the country. First, we have the Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link. This project connects Kashmir to the rest of India through some of the most challenging terrains on the planet. They electrified a 42-kilometer section of this project, which includes a 12.8-kilometer tunnel, which is the longest railway tunnel in India. This project also featured India's first rigid overhead catenary system, ROCS, built to endure extreme cold while enabling speeds up to 120 kilometers per hour with smart monitoring, ensuring reliability even in the harsh conditions. Siemens is bringing cutting-edge traction systems, real-time monitoring in extreme weather, and advanced safety protocols to this entire stretch. But how do these trains manage such high speeds and maintain safety? This is where CBTC, communication-based train control, comes into the picture. Siemens has deployed this on Kolkata's Purple Line, covering 48 kilometers and 36 stations. With this CBTC technology, trains will now know the exact position of every other train, the optimal speed for energy efficiency, when to accelerate and when to brake, and how to maintain perfect safety distances. And the results are actually mind-boggling. 20% energy savings with every train run, 90-second headways maximizing passenger flow, which means more passenger capacity during peak hours. And the best part is that more than 90% of this technology is made right here in India. Millions of people and hundreds of businesses use this every day without even knowing it. But do you know how exactly trains and systems are controlled across this large network? The answer to this is a breakthrough called ETCS Level 2, which stands for European Train Control System. Siemens is leading India's first deployment of this for the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor. This is the same technology used in Europe for trains running at 350 kilometers per hour. What makes this special is that these trains don't just follow signals on the track like in the old days. Instead, trains are actively talking to the tracks, which then communicate with central control, all happening in real time in parallel, which means that we can now manage human errors far more efficiently without missing any signals. In January 2023, something massive happened. Indian Railways placed the biggest rolling stock order in Siemens' 175-year history. We are talking about a 26,000 crore order for 1,200 electric freight locomotives, each one packing 9,000 horsepower. And then, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi himself flagged off the D9 9000 HP electric freight locomotive, marking a major milestone in India's rail journey.
And now we start getting into commercial production. Very soon, locomotives will start rolling out. And this is something that is huge for the country. But for us, a matter of huge pride is Siemens.
All of them have Siemens Railigent X AI built in, ensuring up to 100% availability, edge AI that processes data on the train itself, and protection from the Kavach safety system. Each locomotive can run 120 km per hour while pulling 5,800 tons, which is almost the average weight of approximately 3,500 cars. But the question is, how does this really matter for you and I? Because all of these improvements can significantly improve the environment we live in. These 1,200 locomotives will cut over 800 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions throughout their life cycles. You heard me right, 800 million tons of carbon dioxide. This is something which has never been done before at this scale anywhere in the world. And you'd be surprised to know that for the past 7 decades, Siemens has been a partner in progress for the rail industry and technology. They have not just been a supplier, but a technology transformation partner. They've been providing advanced technologies and solutions to power sustainable growth in the Indian railways.
We are a huge market here in India. If we can get the right technologies at the right cost levels with cutting-edge, state-of-the-art technologies, there are markets around the world that can benefit from India's progress here.
At IREE 2025, they were showcasing a live and immersive experience of their comprehensive portfolio, where we saw next-generation rail technologies, infrastructure solutions, and digital innovations for rail transformation. How many of you have heard about the Dahod factory in Gujarat, which was built under 2 years to manufacture these locomotives? Now here is what makes this story special. They had virtual reality training rooms for the workers. They had AI-powered simulators for testing. They created digital twins, which are virtual replicas of locomotives for optimization. They included state-of-the-art assembly lines. And none of this is the most amazing part. The most inspiring part is that 90% of the locomotives are localized here in India.
89% of the locomotive is localized here in India. 89%, first time done anywhere.
Technologies and components brought in from Nashik, Aurangabad, and Kalwa, Mumbai. It is Indian engineers writing the AI algorithms, Indian coders building predictive maintenance models, and Indian workers assembling these world-class locomotives.
It's an ecosystem that has to work. It's a very complex ecosystem that has to all come together in an integrated manner to deliver one of the most beautiful machines that we've ever done.
So I think we all can be very proud of the fact that now India is on its way to become a proper leader in this space, and it's being built by Indians, it's being built in India, and then it's being built for Indians, which I think it's a remarkable thing that you folks are driving.
And not only for India, for the world, right?
And I'm proud to say that this time we're not buying all of our technology from abroad. We're building it here right in India.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time. And for everybody who's watching this, let us know, what do you feel about this crazy innovation? The fact that so much is happening in our country and very few students and engineering students even know about it. In fact, we will link all the official documentations and videos in the description of this YouTube video so that you can also take notes and maybe post about it on LinkedIn so that we can also figure out what you have learned from this video.
Let us know in the comment section if you thought that this technology was super cool and if you find Siemens tech extremely inspiring. You'll find all the official documentation, press releases, reports, and technical details in the description below. And if you make notes, do post them on Instagram and LinkedIn and tag me. I would love to read them. I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This was your instructor Ansh Mehra, and you are learning from the Cutting Edge School.